Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who've been hanging with me some time, and welcome to those of you who are new to my channel. I'm Adele Levine, intuitive and medium. Alright, so this subject matter has come up to me through readings and just observational energy. Does that make sense? So what I mean by that is I tend to do these videos either by asking you guys what you need and what you want me to do, or I just tune into what's in the air, like take a little temperature of what I feel is kind of going around. And if you look at some of my past videos in the most recent times, in the past few months, I've talked about the awakening and about choosing and the different phases we're going to go through during this very challenging time. And now I feel we're moving into one of the types that, let me say not types, but phase that tends to happen not only in human nature, but as people seeking answers in a spiritual way. And that is how important it is to ground. Now, why do I associate this idea with spirituality and awakening and evolving and wanting to grow and wanting to understand what the spiritual world is like? And what I mean by that is not just spirits who have died, but I'm talking about these other realms, higher beings, and all the things we talk about here on this channel. It's because when people start to kind of go down this path of wanting to have these answers, it is very tempting on a normal, regular day when the sun is shining and the birds are chirping and everything feels good, to want to just drift on out with the spiritual cloud. Yes, I call it the cloud, the spiritual cloud. And that is a temptation. It feels good. It feels like this other world you're tapping into, and you want to focus on your inner self and your spiritual self. The problem is, on a normal, everyday, sunny day with the birds chirping and all of that, it is still important to stay grounded and to be of this world. I'm looking at you. And on a time that things are going the way they're going right now, with all of the pandemic and all of the pressures and the changes and the involvement of our earth, not just I'm talking about Mother Earth, but I'm talking about us as people and the way we're going to live here in society and all of that type of thing, it is easy to just not want to be a part of it. All right, I'm going to take a big pause from a very big cup. Sorry if I swallowed in your air, because I really need to bring this home to you guys, because it is something I'm seeing a lot of. It's not surprising that during a time when you're questioning everything, when you're going through what is the answer to things, why are all these things happening, I need to look inside myself. I need to work on myself, listen to the inner voice, hone my intuition, open my third eye, all these things that we start to realize that we might have put on the back burner due to other things we thought were more important. And I'm not saying that those things aren't important. I'm saying this may be what people are going through, the thought process. Oh, this was more important to me to go do these types of mundane things, everyday things, you know, achieving goals and all this type of stuff. And then we have this type of moment in time and you question, oh, what is it really all about? And that's what's more important. But balance, people. Balance is what's important. And also from the universe and the spiritual message is, if you are not being here of the people and being aware of pain and suffering and loss, like people are losing people are afraid, people are losing their homes and their jobs, and these are real things that you have to stay grounded in about. Now I'm going to give you some tips, of course, on ways to stay grounded, but I didn't want to just do a video on here's some tips and tricks on how to be grounded. There's a million videos like that, and I'm sure you can find many of them, and they're probably going to be very similar to things I'm going to tell you, maybe if you know me a little bit, with a twist on, a Dela twist on it. But I really wanted to bring home the concept of how important it is to not to float with that cloud, not to allow yourself to float away, and not to long for the removal of this planet. Because here's the thing, all the things that are going on, all the things that we're seeing, when we see people going through stuff, when you see social injustice, when you see the pains of people who've been oppressed, and all of the things we're afraid of and we're noticing has always been here. It's always been going on. So the idea of wanting to understand what does it all mean and what is the true meaning of things is a way sometimes that people use to escape. In other words, those questions have already gone through your mind. You've always wanted to understand that. You've always been the person, believe me, most people, I'm not saying everyone, but if you're here watching this, most likely you're this type of person, have wanted to understand the answers to these things. But now we have like a lot of time, a lot of downtime, and the other things are being proven to be an illusion that they always were. The false sense of security has always been there for sure. And so we move to what is important, what do we really need to seek, and that is more an inner spiritual awakening understanding. These are all good things. However, it is not okay to only focus on that. If you are going to go through that, then you have to still see what's in the news. You still have to see what's going on with people. You still have to face what's coming and what we're all going to deal with, that people are afraid, people are losing things, that people are in this place here on this earth. We are here to be human people, to experience and rise above the pains and the trials of this planet, which is limiting because it's a physical world. That's what's limiting, is I have to put my juice in this cup in order for me to drink it. I can't just allow it to float into the air unless I guess I'm in space and let it come to me. I can't just think of, I would like some juice and feel good about it. No, there's steps I have to take. Someone had to make this cup. I actually bought this cup. I actually bought what needed to go in to pour into this cup, and then I actually have to drink this juice. Now those steps seem very silly, and I know very simple, and that, Adela, what is the point? The point is all these steps is what makes this world very difficult. It's what makes us realize, like, oh my gosh, there's so much time and energy I put into all of these types of things. Which type of cup? Which type of, where am I going to buy it? We do this on all levels, right? And then when everything starts to kind of go by the wayside, we question, has it really been that important? And I understand that, but I am noticing a trend of people just kind of wanting to skip the idea of this realm. And spirituality isn't here to remove you from the earthly realm. And I have a saying, and what it is you can't spiritualize and actualize yourself out of everything. You have to go through the human experience to grow and evolve as a spiritual being. It's very, very important, because otherwise it kind of comes from ego, guys. It comes from ego. If you're saying, oh, well, I'm working on myself and I'm evolving and I'm in a much more evolved place, then you're basically saying that you are higher and better than other people. And let me remind you, on the other realm, there is no hierarchy. There is nobody sitting there saying, I'm more important in this spiritual realm than this spiritual being. That doesn't exist. The collective consciousness is the idea that we all treasure each other's roles. So the person who had to think of this, who had to make this, and let's face it, was probably in a factory. The people had to work in that. The person that had to deliver the juice to my house, because that's what I'm doing, that made it. All of these aspects, the person driving the truck, all of these roles is equally important for us to coexist. And when the hierarchy becomes more important and the ego becomes more important and it starts doing this, at some point it crumbles. And that is what we're seeing in this new awakening in the new world. Not really new awakening, but the new world that's being formed. Because at some point it just doesn't work. It has never worked. So what I'm saying is, if you are trying to seek and you're growing as a spiritual person, telling yourself that you are only focusing on that and you are evolving and you want to know what your special gifts are and you're trying to look at your own gifts and what are you gifted about and how can you, it's starting to feel like escape. It's starting to feel like trying to use this to remove yourself from this place. You have to be here and aware of what is going on. And then sometimes the flip side of that is, if you are someone doing that type of work, you'll feel the heaviness of the world. You'll feel the pressure and the energy. And I can do a whole nother video on that. And that is a real thing. However, that is usually because if you are someone who's sensitive to those energies and you are trying to be grounded and you are trying to be aware, you're going to feel the energy around you. So, few things to stay grounded. Just do some silly things, guys. It doesn't have to be that deep. This is a Adela's twist on it. I'm not going to say, oh, you have to run into the forest and dance around and hug a tree. You don't have to. But you can if that's what you want to do. It's also very good, but you don't have to do that. You can watch a very bad TV show. You can play video games like someone we know, Adela, by the way. I finished Witcher 3 in case you were studying. In case you were wondering, I beat the game. Thank you very much. I'm moving on to Red Dead Redemption, in case you were wondering. That's a very grounded thing. It's kind of escape, right? It's kind of an escape into another world, but it's physical, it's grounded, it's here. Some people want to exercise. That's a good thing too, because that kind of keeps you in touch with your body. Of course, all of the things that we've heard before, putting your feet into the grass and all that, but not everybody can do that. Not everybody has that ability, especially right now. And yes, those are all things that are grounded. But honestly, checking in with yourself, seeing what's going on with you, taking a shower, a bath, and cleansing yourself with salt or whatever, and just really staying aware and focus of what's happening in the world. Eating food. Some people are cooking. I'm kind of cooking and baking. I've posted about that. Sorry, I have to drink from here. Thank you, cup and juice. Doing things that are mundane, believe it or not, keeps you grounded. You have to check yourself. You need to be of the world. And I'm going to leave you with this. One of the spiritual messages that I get from the other realm is this: believe it or not, I preach this and I say this to you. I don't want to say preach it because that's, I'm not preaching, but I speak of this because this is coming from another place, not from me, because I had to work on my whole life on being more grounded, being more of this world. And it is something I work on every day. But what I truly mean by grounded isn't something I feel has been a struggle for me, which is being of the people, being with the people, being aware of the people. We all have different levels or understanding or struggles, I should say, with grounding. Some of us float off into the clouds and we don't really want to be here. That's a different kind of grounded. So, having a hard time being grounded. And some people just don't want to connect with what's going on in the world. And that's another way of not being grounded. So being practical and being logical and being aware and using your mind, the two can exist. You can be a very spiritual and light and type of person that's a free spirit and be practical and logical and grounded. And so I'm just here to remind you of this. So like I said, find your thing. Some people are knitting, some people are baking, and these are all different ways. It doesn't always have to be meditation. So in closing, I just wanted to give that little reminder, and I hope that helped. And remember to tune into yourself and find what works for you. You should know yourself. You know what get your feet on the ground and do what works for you. That's the only thing I feel is a little different that I see that's out there, is that people tend to give people lists, and what works for someone doesn't work for all. I wanted to remind people, yes, I am still extending my 50% off of readings because things are still very difficult, and I am doing a class on how to manipulate energy. Ooh, I'm so excited because this is about cloaking. Yes, cloaking is not just something you see in witches and in witch movies, and I mentioned before Harry Potter. It is a real thing, and how to push energy out and how to bring energy in. I'm really excited about this class. It's going to be on the 29th, and all that information is on my Instagram and on my website. Everything on social media is Adela Levine. And also, some of you have signed up for my very small group where I'm doing readings, a medium reading, doing quick readings for everybody. It is a medium gallery circle. Don't forget, it's this Saturday. Come live, because I can't read you if you're not there. Thank you guys so much. Follow yourself. Please subscribe. Leave a comment. Comment and let me know, how do you ground? Let's help each other. Make suggestions, because maybe there's other people who have like-mindedness in your same energy and may connect with how you ground. So leave a comment. Let me know, what do you do to ground and how it makes you feel, and what do you struggle with, by the way, that might be difficult for you to ground. Share with me and share with everyone, because we can share with each other. Follow yourself, follow no one, listen to that inner voice, and I'll see you guys soon.